Randy, this is Doug Sanders, your friend and your caddy. Just call in to say hi to you. Hope that you're doing well. And I'm in Houston. I'm going to go out and hit some balls in a little bit. So take good care. Give me a call and tell me what's happening in the world.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks to Doug Sanders for always opening up our Happy Hour Lifestyle Show. And this is the Happy Hour Lifestyle Show with Ole Uncle Randy, Randy Weckerly, and I'm happy to be with you now in my 10th year of broadcasting on many different shows. But our Happy Hour show, what it does every week is celebrate all the good things in life, from golf, travel, dining, sipping, fashion, and spas. You know, we always need a little time out and to relax and enjoy life. But this show is our favorite show now with Richard Yang, who he and I have a different way of looking at golf stats. Of course, with the PGA Championship heading into the first round on Thursday, we have decided every Wednesday before every PGA event that we're going to take our top 10 picks and see who can accumulate the most money through the weekend. I'm really anticipating having a lot of fun with Dr. Yang and his different way of looking at it. Now, just to remind you, he looks at golf stats over the decades. And this one, because it's a major, he takes a look at the majors, and I take a look at performance, feeling, my decades of being in and around the golf and watching what's been going on for the past few weeks. So two completely different looks at golf stats and predicting who's going to win. So we're really interested to bring this weekly adventure, let's say, to you. And of course, this week is coming from down in one of the most beautiful areas of the world, Louisville, Kentucky. I'm sure the bluegrass and the soja is fervent, and the boys are going to have a lot of fun. Of course, being the Distillery Channel, there are quite a few in Louisville. Bardstown, of course, is just south of Louisville and just east of Fort Knox. So a lot going on from Kentucky Derby and now right into the PGA Championship. There's been a lot of history in the PGA Championship. You might remember Bob May and Tiger going at it years ago. And then when Rory won, right as the sun was, I believe, had gone down, they tried to get it in, and they did. So just a lot of great history. It's where Justin Thomas is from. They had a great celebration earlier in the week for Justin being from that area, and he very tearfully accepted it. Also, we also have to congratulate Scotty Scheffler and his beautiful wife, welcoming their brand new baby boy, Bennett, into the world. So a lot of things, great things going on in the world of golf. But let's get right at it, and let's bring Dr. Richard Yang in to help us have a little friendly competition coming up with picking our top 10, and then we predict who's going to win this week's PGA. Here we go. All right, everybody. Now, after that magnificent open that I did with the show, we talked about all kinds of things. We are now in a better place because we have Richard Yang, who is who is this prophetic guy that knows these stats. As we say, he is stats crazy. He has studied them all of his life. And I don't know. How long have you been doing this, Richard? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here. I would say about 30 years or so, 30 some years.
Wow, that's amazing.
And the stats keep growing as I think of different ways to look at it.
So again, I know I asked you this last week, but just refresh me. I mean, are you keeping this pencil and paper or in a computer, or how do you get your notes, compile your notes?
On an iPad. On my notes on iPad, and then I back it up by emailing it to myself. And I try to put it on Google Docs and stuff, but it's primarily iPad notes and then email to myself so that I have it backed up.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So anyway, this week it's coming from Kentucky, and a lot of things going on in Kentucky. And of course, as I said before, you came on. We are the Distillery Channel. So when you got Louisville, Kentucky down there, and you got Bardstown, which is famous for where bourbon, started, and then you got Fort Knox, not many miles away. Yeah, the Kentucky Derby, what, a week ago?
Yeah.
Kentucky is ongoing. Valhalla, by the way, is one of the most beautiful golf courses that the pros play on. It's been around since 1986, and when they built it, it was actually built by the PGA of America. And when they built it, they originally thought it would be the home of when the Ryder Cup would come to America, and it would be the center influence. And then some members bought it later on, and just beautiful golf course.
That home of PGA is now going to be built in Texas, right? Or it's being
Yeah,
built.
no, the home of the PGA is built in Texas. It's in Katy, Texas, and it's a magnificent organization and a magnificent building. You need a lot. It's like you talk about Fort Knox. It's like Fort Knox to get in it. You need a whole bunch of credentials, and it's my friends that have gone there. Art, who's on our show, has been there, and they're going to have. They've built courses down there to have the PGA. I think next year possibly there. So it'll be.
I think. Yeah, you're right. I think they put it on the regular rotation already.
Yeah.
At least planned it on the rotation.
Yeah. So
were you talking about Art Wall when you said Art?
No, not Art Wall. Art Strickland. No, not Art Wall. Thank you for bringing up Art Wall, but no, Art Strickland, who's our credentialed partner that's on the show after you're on it. Art is a guy who I've known for many years. He's credentialed in the world of golf. He writes for like many golf magazines around the world, and he has published, I think, nearly 20 books on the world of golf, and he's president of the Texas Golf Writers Association and formerly a Pulitzer nominated author. And but this week, because of he also has the Art of Golf Travel, and the reason he's not on this week is that they are traveling to the Old Course. He's taking a group to go play the Old Course. The home of golf. So
right.
But he always goes to the most iconic places. This year during the US Open, he'll have a trip around the US Open where he actually can play not the big course, but you can play at Pinehurst and before and after the tournament. He has another group going out to Pebble Beach, but they're always the iconic destinations. Every year, he takes a group down to the Masters, rents a house, and it's quite a life that Art leads. But anyway, this week is the PGA Championship, and we said last week we're going to go through our top 10 picks. But before we do that, before we go through that, I'm gonna pick your brain. How you go about determining who the top 10 picks were in your camp?
Oh, well, it's a lot of trend and what I've seen them play. The statistics, they're great and all, but if you watch enough golf, it's really hard to base on statistics because the winning percentage is so low. So it's really not that predictable in that sense.
Yeah.
I mean, even I've seen the announcers and analysts, they always pick someone, but they're rarely ever correct.
Yeah. This week is very interesting because we have there's three top threes. If you took Scotty, Rory, and Brooks Koepka, all three are coming into this tournament with their last competition being a victory. And that is highly unusual. You have 16 coming from LIV, but a lot of them are coming because based on their credentials from playing around the world. So they do have some, official world ranking points. So it's hard to measure their performance from my standpoint. And then you have actually in this tournament, John Daly's playing in the tournament because he
Yeah.
is a former winner. And when he got into that first tournament, he was a 16th alternate, uh, which was crazy. So do you remember that? Did you follow John back at that day?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I remember he was I mean, I think, did he sleep in his car or something like that the night
Yeah.
before or something like that?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had to drive. He had to drive all night just to get there. And
It was in Indiana or something like that, I think.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was. It
Yeah.
was. And he just stormed the field. I mean, he just had, got
The guy's
well,
super talented. He's just, he's got a rough private life.
needless to say.
Yeah.
Back in the day when we were building artificial greens, one of the corporations we had, my partner built went to his home, built three of practice greens in his backyard when he made his
Oh,
comeback, his first comeback I want to say in the early 2000s. So it was, we've known John, quite well. And then you got Sean McKeel's playing also in this, and
oh
Rich
yeah.
Beam is
Yeah.
playing at it. They're both really great guys. Of course, Phil Mickelson is playing in this tournament.
Yes.
And what, 3 or 4 years ago, he won it, right?
Yeah.
Was it 3 years?
He was 50, so that would have been right before he turned 51. So that would have been 2020. Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, yeah, down at Kiowa.
Or 2021. 2021. It's 2021.
2021. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be about right.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we are going to pick the top 10. We don't want to belabor this all night, and it's always fun to go through the list of players. Um, I I guess we're going to go from the bottom to the top. With the final one being your pick of being a winner. So you go first. You're on. You go ahead.
Number 10 for me would be Roy.
Really?
Yeah. I love Roy. He's one of my favorite all time players. Probably I told you last week my dream foursome. He'd probably be my second foursome.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, the trend with Roy is he sneaks in at the end of the tournament, and if he leads, just like in the British Open, he hit every single green but couldn't hit a single putt. And I think I remember seeing his average putt was he had two more putts per round on the fourth round compared to the first three rounds of the majors. So
Really?
I just don't think I love him and I think he's a great ball striker. I just don't think he has the putting ability and clutch putting ability to. If you look at in the past and it's three of his four wins, he had huge leads going into the fourth round.
Now you're talking about a major, or you're
Yeah,
talking about
for majors, I think he obviously can win the regular tournaments. He's done it 26 times already. Well, actually, if you take out the majors, 22 times. He's won the PGA tournament with not including the majors. So he can obviously win tournaments. It's just I think he puts too much pressure on himself in the major.
now?
He's had
Did you watch him last weekend?
Yeah, he was awesome.
I just
Yeah.
I think he sunk everything. So I'm now that's a great that is a great comment. That yeah, I'm about ready to fall off the chair. I'm glad I had a seatbelt on. That would be that's good. I mean, that is interesting. So my 10th spot is a gentleman that's been trending higher. I've been looking at people that have just been hanging around that can hit the ball very far. And my pick is Sepp Straka.
Yes,
And
he has been around for the last
yeah,
the last year or so.
yeah, in the last few tournaments, he trended, toward the top, and he has this laid back. I'm not even sure it bothers him that he doesn't win, but everybody got steamrolled this past weekend, but he's been around that top 10 and, Ryder Cup player with a Southern draw. And
Yeah.
he's a interesting guy. Okay, so number 9.
Kind of like what you mentioned, hanging around. Max Homa.
Max Homa, good pick.
Yeah, yeah.
I looked at Max and so what would be your reason for picking Max? What was that?
He he has been playing well as of late, and he did well in the last major in the Masters. He just couldn't hang on, of course.
Yeah.
So I think he's due for a breakthrough. I just don't know if he's got that clutch gene yet to win the majors.
It's a tough.
Yeah,
It's a tough
yeah.
one. Mine is Jason Day.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So Jason
Okay.
has been, parachute pants and whole new wardrobe, but his short game is beyond reproach, and he can hit the ball far. He's playing well.
Yeah.
So, and he can play in the majors. He's been there and done that. So that's why. So now number 8.
I went with Cam Young.
You know what? I forgot Cam. I just didn't get by it. That is a great pick. He actually, yeah, to be honest, was going to be one of my top 3 picks to win, and
Oh, wow.
it really was. And I'm not going to change it up just because you picked him. But I thought about this early today, and I was like, I was going to pick him to be one of the top 3 winners. So good pick on that. I like that a lot. I think he'll do quite well. So now I'm going to jump over one of our live boys for number 8. I got Bryson
Okay.
DeChambeau.
Yep.
Okay. And he did quite well in the Masters. And not to say that they can't play 72 holes, but his faltering at the Masters was the last
Yeah.
18, So I
Yeah.
don't think he's out of shape, but Bryson can hit the ball really far if they get water like they think they're supposed to. And these are what are called zoysia greens or zoysia fairways, and it's a very different type of fairway. And ball sits up, and it's very thick, great grass, but he can bomb and gouge, and the longer the better on this course. So,
Mhm.
okay, so go ahead. We are now at number 7.
All right. Number 7 hasn't won yet on the PGA, but I think he's going to be the next superstar. But Ludwig Aberg, I guess is his name. How do you say it?
Ludwig Ober.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. From Sweden.
so
Yeah.
yeah, and he is what a tremendous. He was in college a year ago,
Yeah. He,
and
he was the
yeah,
number 1 amateur golfer. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, what a great guy! One of the best swings. I veered away from Ludwig because he's got knee trouble, and he's got he didn't play last week because of it. And I think a wet, sloggy course. I'd love to pick him in the top 5, honestly, but I just stayed away from that idea that the wounded golfer can do well.
but he did pretty well in the Masters, which is really hard to walk.
Yeah,
It's
but
got
he
a lot
did
of
have a bad
undulation.
knee at the time.
Oh,
He's
this is
got
new.
a yeah, he's got a brace on his knee this week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He sat out last week, so we learn things during our show, don't we?
Yes.
So okay, we're on number 7, and this is a guy that he always finishes really well. He just hasn't taken it over the top, and I've watched him when they had the U.S. Open up in Wisconsin, played well. I just think the heck of him. But Tommy Fleetwood
Yeah.
uh, is
I,
who I am very, very interested in, and I don't know if he'll be. Now, what we're doing is whoever wins total most money wins this amazing exercise we have here, but he always has been solid. So that's my number 7. So we're at number 6.
Yeah, I like Tommy Fleetwood. I didn't put him in my top 10, but he was definitely on my mind.
Okay.
Um, number 6, Victor Hovland.
Victor. Okay.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
Victor?
He hasn't been playing well as of late, but he has played well in the majors in the past. So
Yeah.
I just have a feeling that he will play well here. It's more of a feeling than anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feelings are good. My number 6 is based upon just the way he's been playing all year is Sunjay M.
Oh, yeah.
And he did really well this last weekend, even though he got steamrolled like everybody else did, but he's been a solid player all year. And he's in the number 6 spot. Okay, now we are getting into the nitty gritty And I got a feeling there might be a lot of duplication here. Maybe, maybe not. But number 5,
For me, it's John Rahm.
not bad.
Yeah, big hitter. I mean, obviously, live. Actually, I have 3 live golf players in the top 5,
Pretty good.
which actually surprised me when I went through the list. Um, but these 3 players are actually still playing in a high level, especially in the majors.
Hey,
Yeah, I know John Rahm didn't play well in the Masters,
right.
but
Well,
he's a very talented guy. He hits really far.
yeah.
You know.
I do not expect him to be in the top 10. I
Okay.
think he put too much pressure on himself by what he said this week in the press. And I don't know if you're familiar with his quotes, but he said in a press conference that he still considered himself part of the PGA Tour. And
Huh.
people are like, what? And
He's definitely. I mean, he isn't. This isn't the first time he went off script with what Liv would expect.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I think he did it earlier in the year too. So I kind of like that.
yeah.
Kind of
Well,
like that.
Aaron Overholser tied into him, and I'll let you look up his tweet, what he had to say about those comments, because there'll be a little bit of heat coming toward him. So now we are in my 5th spot. I've got Xander Schauffele.
I liked him a lot too.
Yeah,
But
go ahead.
I don't have him in my top 5. He's definitely on my honorable mention.
Honorable mention. All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, I think he'll recover from last weekend, but he's been in the top 10 performer forever. All right, number 4,
Cam Smith.
Cam Smith.
Yeah.
Wow, why Cam Smith?
Well, he always plays the major well. I mean, he won the 2022 British and putted super well.
Yeah,
And he didn't start out well with the Masters, but he towards the 3rd and 4th round, he pushed towards the where was he? I'm not sure where he finished, but he got into the leaderboard for a while. So I think he's still playing well enough to play and to get another victory, especially with his putting. He's got fantastic putting ability.
of course, he's great. I didn't even consider him. So this could be you're looking at majors, and I'm looking at something entirely different. That is really fascinating. And I think Cam Smith is, I think the world of him. I think he's a great guy. My number 4 is Ben On.
Oh
Uh,
wow,
yeah.
you've
So
got a lot of people that haven't won majors yet. But you know what? I picked a lot based on performance in the majors because majors requires a little bit more, uh, more than just a regular tournament. But in my mind, when I watch majors, it's always the unsung, unknown people that tends to win these majors
yeah.
a lot of times. So
Well, this
I like where you're going with that. I think so you have some good picks there.
well, I appreciate that. Thank you. But this particular tournament always has a lot of first-time winners in it.
Yes. Yep.
And if you remember Tiger Woods playing Bob May, the
Yes.
historical, performance. I just heard Bob May interviewed, and he fascinating interview. It was on it was on, I don't know, it's one of those Sunday morning recap shows, and he just he just very much enjoyed that time and the performance that he put in, and nobody ever forgets it because it was electrifying. So now we're getting down to that top 3, and so your 3rd slot.
Colin Morikawa.
Wow,
Yeah.
Colin Morikawa.
He he did. I mean, he did super well in the Masters, although he didn't finish the way I would hope he would have. Because he's one of my favorite golfers today. He is a 2-time major champion. I think he won the PGA before too. He has one
Yes,
PGA.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and I love his ball striking ability. So,
Oh, he's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. My
He
number,
probably gets my top two.
well, I'm going to tell you that we're leaving a whole bunch of people that this afterglow we're going to have a talk about. The people we're leaving off here. It's interesting. My number 3 is Brooks Koepka.
Okay.
Okay. And I gave him a ton of thought. He's got a new baby, but Brooks is, I admire the guy. I really don't fault him for going to live. I think he uses it as a buddy trip every week. I think he uses it to get his own game sharp. He never liked playing in regular PGA events anyway. And he went over there to get healthy. Really can't fault him for taking the money at the time, but now he is healthy and he's got that attitude that I'm telling you,
Yeah.
he's tough. He's tough.
I love that. I love his attitude. And yeah, I mean, I think if he were not injured, he probably would not have gone to live.
Yeah, I agree.
But at the time, yeah, he was struggling. He was injured, so
Yeah.
he made the choice that was right for him at the moment.
Yeah, and he grew up tough by going to Europe and the way he grew in the game, and I just admire him. I have no fault, no problem with 5-time major winner. What has he won? 3 PGAs and
Yeah.
and 2 US
To
Open.
US. Yeah, to US.
Not a bad resume.
It's a great resume.
Not bad. What did he
It's
say? God, I don't know. It's some high percentage. He has more major wins than regular wins. I mean,
yeah. He has I've seen those stats. He has a really high ratio of majors compared to
yeah,
overall wins.
it's
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, now we are number 2.
It was Brooks Koepka.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he's a long hitter. He's a great long hitter. I don't think he feels the pressure either.
No,
He doesn't care.
No.
And I think that serves him well because he doesn't care about anything else. He
No.
plays his game and he doesn't put pressure on himself.
If you ever saw his house, his wife, his lifestyle when he's outside of golf, it's one anybody would want to have. It's really, really good. All right, number 2. My number 2 is Scotty Scheffler.
It's a good choice.
Yeah. I think coming from a baby, and not saying that makes any difference in the world, but it's going to be pretty obvious who I picked as number 1. And so now, drum roll, and you're number 1.
Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, there you go.
Though statistically speaking, it's unlikely he'll win because it's very few people have ever won the first 2 majors in the year to start off.
Right.
Yeah, it's just not that easy to do. Especially he just had a baby, so I imagine he's not getting a lot of sleep.
Well, he has got a strong, mom and dad. I mean, there's not a better family. That child chose the right parents, to move into, and he and Meredith couldn't be better. And honestly, listening to him interviewed, when he's on the golf course, he just plays golf. When he's not on the golf course, he doesn't listen to social media. He doesn't care about it. He's very, very faith-based. He just goes home and he takes care of his family, and he just shuts it out,
I think they were saying that he's the type that doesn't really look at the leaderboard either.
No, he just plays golf.
Yeah.
And Ted Scott, his caddy is, they put in a ton of work. And I think I heard, I think Saturday, I didn't get this, and I'm sorry I didn't get it before we came on air, but I think Scotty's going to have an alternate caddy on Saturday because Ted might have to do something. So anyway, I didn't mean it for me to have the last pick, but there is an open spot there, and I did have to go ahead and pick Rory. So
I would love Rory to win. He would be he and Brooks Koepka are probably my top choices.
Yeah.
After all this time and watching Rory for the last 10 years of struggling in the majors and struggling with his putting in the majors, especially in the last round, I just lost faith in his ability to close the deal.
Yeah.
But I would love Rory to win.
Yeah, Brad Faxon is his putting coach, and he has made some changes, but Rory, I watch Rory closely. I admire him. I'm sorry he's going through a divorce.
Yes. Yeah.
But he didn't. I mean, he knew that last Sunday. It didn't phase him. I might free him up, but his putting is has actually been phenomenal. And you know, it always boils down to it. But recently, I mean, that's my opinion. And I don't look at the stats. If you look at the stats, you know, Scotty's everything. I mean, Scotty's
Yeah.
lead everything. You
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah. I mean, statistically, he's not a bad putter. He's an probably average putter. But in the majors, I know he's just not as good of a putter, and that's visually too. If you watch, especially that 2020 British was so frustrating. He had so many great birdie chances
yeah,
because he hit every single green, I believe,
yeah,
in that major, and did not hit one putt, a single one.
yeah,
He,
yeah.
he
I
missed a lot
agree.
of good chances.
It was he only lost by a stroke.
Yeah, if he hit one or two of those
Yeah,
putts. Yeah, I mean, and Cam Smith was hitting everything. He was hitting all those 8, 10, 12 footers,
yeah.
and Roy just could not hit a single one. And
Oh,
so I've rooted for Rory for so long that I just don't have that faith in his ability to close out anymore. And when I look back and see that he collapsed during the Masters, and his 3 of his 4 majors were 4 to 6 shot leads, which gave him that cushion where he wasn't as he wasn't pushed as much. He was in the comfort zone in those majors. So I think from what I've seen of Roy, he needs that comfort zone.
yeah, yeah. He turned it on. So, in the alternative world, people that didn't make your list, uh, who did you leave off that?
Xander was one of them. I love Xander. He's been hanging around a lot of these majors, and obviously he's won regular PGA tournaments. Bryson was actually on my alternate list, and Jordan Spieth. He's not playing well,
Yeah,
but this is a little bit more of a wish pick because I would like him to get the PGA and get the career Grand Slam.
yeah.
But that's why I couldn't put him in the top 10. It's more of a wish pick.
What about Justin Thomas?
He has not been playing well.
Yeah,
Um, so I like Justin Thomas, and he is a PGA guy, and he's won 2 PGAs. It's just he has not been playing well, and I don't know if he's getting some. He said certain things on the internet or on the social media that didn't go over very well with fans and stuff. So I don't know if he's distracted or anything like that, but he's just not playing well right now. So I didn't. He was a thought too, but I couldn't go with him yet.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He was honored in Louisville. You know, he's Kentucky and from there, and he was honored this week. Big deal. I think it's hard to carry that pressure into this tournament because when you're a focus of the local folk and the hometown hero, I think there's more pressure being that than, you know, somebody sneaking in under,
Yeah.
under the cover of night. Um, but it was hard for me, for Rory, or not for Rory, for Jordan, because he's such a fine young man. And the only reason is he's got that tendon that just goes out and he doesn't know when it happens. It could be holding an ice cream cone to swinging a golf club and it just pops out on him. And, he just it's not cured. It's not,
Yeah.
it just happens. So I stayed away from all the wounded golfers. I mean, I love Ludwig, Obear, but with the wounded knee, and the one that we both, well, at least that I avoided was Will Zalatoris, who
He
plays,
was
he plays
he was
great,
on my alternate.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
but bad back, type of thing. And you got uh, just, there's just guys that hit the ball really, really far. So I guess let's talk about how we pick. You pick based on performance on majors, and I'm picking based on, what guys hit the ball really far, their recent performance, and looking, I guess, at the last 2 or 3 months of their performance. So we did pick rather differently.
Yes. I have 4 golfers that have not won a major yet. But yeah, it's just past performance for me tells me a little bit about how they do. Although I would agree, I think that if you're gonna pick people that win majors, it's usually the one that hasn't won yet. It's
Yeah.
hard to repeat. It's hard to repeat. It's hard to win multiple majors. But I always have faith in those that show that they could do it in the past, especially if the multiple major winners.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm surprised by Rory after winning 4. I would predict it after Rory won 4 that he would have 10 by the end of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen anymore. But
Yeah.
when he had won his 4th one, I was predicting 10. Brooks Koepka, I could see him getting 8, 9 majors.
Yeah.
In his career.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, so he still has some more to go, and he might be due for this one.
Well, I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win the Masters at some point. I think he can win anything he wants. I just think he's, when he gets up, when he gets into the point of playing, I just love his attitude. And no more to say about it.
I think he's the next career Grand Slam winner.
Yeah. So the cool thing about this is if Scotty wins, then he's got the first 2 of the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
So that, should be something that he, would be thinking about during the week. Tony Finau, again, hit the ball really far, but he can't find the hole when he's on the green right now. He's putting terribly. What did you have any others that you gave some consideration to?
No, those were about it.
Yeah, Hideki, I thought about that for a bit, but I think we're going to have an interesting bout here. So now we've got to. I think what we should do. Do you like pizza?
I love pizza.
All right. Well, whoever wins this battle, between Richard and Randy, the Richard R&R battle going on here.
Okay.
We'll win a big. How many are in your family, Richard?
5.
5. So we need a family-sized pizza. And
how many are yours? Yeah.
Well, when I'm alone, it's just me. But when I'm with my family and we go eat at a pizza place in DeKalb, I've got 4 grown sons, and I've got 3 grandkids and a couple daughter-in-laws. So
wow,
we eat. But just a nice little 12-inch pizza is about all I really need. So you get off cheap. That's fine. But I think you're going to win too. I just think you're smarter than me. I picked on my heart. So next Wednesday we get to review this, and then weekly, based upon where they're playing, we will have this be our weekly saga going forward. And by the way, one person we never talked about is playing in this tournament, who at one point in time won 7 of 17 majors that he played in a stretch during his life. Tiger Woods is playing in this tournament. So,
yes, I saw that. Oh, actually, I did give him a small thought when I saw his name on the thing.
Are you serious?
I did, for the tiniest thought, just because he's Tiger Woods. But realism came down. I was like,
I love Tiger. I'd love to see him win, be the greatest thing that could happen for golf, or even finishing, top 20, make the cut would be great. But it never crossed my mind other than nope. It's just
because Tiger's so great, but being realistic and everything. Yeah, I don't predict too much from him.
Yeah, and there are 2 club pros from Illinois that are in this. Yeah, one from Rockford and one at Butler National is there. In the gentleman from Kellen from Rockford actually is in one of the clubs around, I can't remember, around the north side of Chicago. Strangely, this week, head pro from my country club just qualified for the U.S. Senior Open. So
wow.
He's the 3rd one. Back in the 90s, we actually had 2 of our players in the same year qualify for the U.S. Senior Open. So,
did you say you were going to try out for the U.S. Senior Open?
No, not this year. It's going to be the Illinois Senior Open. I'm going to try to play in that.
Okay.
The U.S. Senior Open, no. We've not had good enough weather at all to get out and practice. This has been terrible year, although I did go out and practice today, so. And I just decided I'd rather sit here and talk to you. Anyway, Richard, I thank you for being on, and I look forward to next Wednesday. Good luck. And it'd be funny to see that somebody out of nowhere wins the PGA and it makes us look like idiots, but that's okay. Anyway.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, not at all. Anyway, Richard, really appreciate it. You have a good evening, and be safe and healthy. I look forward to talking to you next Wednesday.
Thanks. You too. Take care.
Have a good week.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, I want to thank Richard Yang for expressing his thoughts on who's going to win and who's going to pile up the most money. Now, remember, we've got a big old pizza on the line for who's going to win the most money out of the top 10 picks. I thought it was fairly interesting that I picked Rory to win, and he picked him to finish no higher than 10th. But the picks were extremely interesting. It's pretty hard to leave off Rory, Scotty, and Brooks off that lineup, because in a real strange set of affairs, all three of them won their last event. And how unique is that to have three people playing in a tournament that were all three won their last event? So it's exciting. These golf stats are pretty interesting. You have to remember that Richard has decades of looking at golf from a very different perspective. Maybe not that as a golfer, but as somebody that is looking at it's a feel, it's an intuitive situation, and he has some really interesting thoughts on why people can't win majors if they or can't complete the Grand Slam if they don't do it in their first 3 years after winning the third. So as we evolve those thoughts as the years go on, or as this year goes on, let's say, it's going to be interesting. My thoughts really come from a feel, looking at players, and I don't know. I just threw some names out there. So anyway, we will have a wrap-up show first part of next week, and always join us on Wednesday night for the Golf Stats Show, because this is not about gambling. This is all about our personal feeling on who's going to do well in the upcoming week. So for Richard Yang and myself, Ole Uncle Randy, we wish you well in the upcoming week. Enjoy the PGA Championship. It looks like it's going to be great, and have fun playing golf. It's the best way to enjoy life. Anyway, be safe, be healthy out there. Ole Uncle Randy. Talk to you soon.